because that's a real disease and we know how to treat it.
Yes.
So,
and I think that's, the battle and the struggle, I think, with just the misconceptions of just breaking that stigma of anorexia or any type of eating disorder, that it can't happen to a man, or if you don't look sick or you don't present sick, then you don't have an eating disorder. And that's something that, working in treatment centers, a lot of people would come in with like EDNOS, which is eating disorder not otherwise specified, which I want to go into more later. But even just not knowing, and that's the problem I think with categories, where do I fit? Because I'm not anorexic, I'm not bulimic, I don't have binge eating, so I don't fit into a category. So I'm not sick enough where I think I need help. So leave me alone. When I fit in anorexic, let's say, category, then I know I have an issue. But until then, the doctors say I'm healthy, I'm fine, leave me alone.
well, I think it's multi-layered because not only do you have to learn to accept that this is a serious disease, which I've driven home in the last 2 episodes. This really is a serious disease. It's like being diagnosed with something as serious as cancer because it does have a progression. And so to actually accept that and then to be labeled, that's another very difficult part. And I absolutely agree with you. It's not about appearance.
It's not, yeah.
Mine was looked over because for many years I was an athlete, I was thin. And again, they don't look for signs of anorexia in men.
What are some signs for men, but also just in general for anorexia? Just besides, I know, obviously there's the physical appearance, I think, with someone's anorexic and they've gotten to that point where they look skeletal, people are like, oh, that person has an eating disorder, they're sick, or they have something else. But beyond that, before it even gets to that physical point, what are some signs that you would recommend people maybe take notice of or should be aware of, even emotionally or around food, for, let's say, anorexia?
It's a really good question because I actually get those kind of questions just from friends who know in my past. They might have some strange, they might be on Weight Watchers or been on diets, and they wonder at what point is it really an eating disorder?
Yeah.
My response is typically any rigidity around your food, your body weight, size, or shape, the number. As soon as that rigidity starts to impair on your freedom in your life, that's when you need to start being concerned about it. There's a lot of, especially in California, there's a lot of health fads.
Yeah.
The paleo diet, people are, they're saying gluten's bad for you.
Juicing is huge.
Juicing, and the ultimate result of that is you're restricting certain parts of your diet. And restriction is a form of, that's the foundation of anorexia, restricting different parts of the food choices.
Yeah, and even going beyond even that. So, the restriction, a lot of that I've seen, and you can correct me if I'm wrong or if any of this resonates with you, a lot of restriction, it even starts even before the food. There's a lot of discipline as far as perfectionism or people-pleasing or wanting, a lot of times they call it, a lot of times people will refer to their child or loved one who had an eating disorder and be like, I had no idea. They were the perfect child. They did well in school. They were active. And there were slowly signs of maybe isolation or never feeling good enough. But then it starts maybe with other things before it maybe resonates to food. For you, were any of that aspects true for you?
I think that's very true. I don't know if it's a way of starting in another aspect of your life.
Yeah.
I think it's more about the personality traits of the person. There are personality traits that are associated with, particularly with my disease, perfectionism.